an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Masai Mara. You are looking at the Mara River with the zebra ready to cross. They are piled up there. Hopefully we will be having a crossing quite soon. A very good afternoon this afternoon. My name is Isaac and on camera I have Big James, and already we're parked here at the river ready to show you the crossing. I hope it happens, but who am I to say anything? Look at this. We just arrived and they are already at the river. Remember, when it gets to this, it doesn't mean that they will cross. We saw one jump in and then jump out. Well, this is coming live and direct from the Masai Mara. Remember to engage us, talk to us on #WildEarth. Questions and comments are very welcome. It is very exciting because we have been waiting to show you this live coverage for the last 5 days, but it hasn't happened. But who am I to say anything? This could be it, guys. So hold back, sit back, enjoy. All the zebras there. Everybody wants to go across. I would say I have to welcome you on this digital safari. Yes, welcome back. Lots of tension there. Through experience, they know the river is treacherous. There could be anything inside the water. A few of them are drinking and going back. We have seen 2 jump in and jump out. It is very tense, not for them only, but for us here, because we'd like to share with you a zebra crossing. We have seen lots of wildebeest, we have seen a few zebra, but it will be nice to show you, these many zebra. Remember, the river is slightly higher today, and yesterday the rapids are rougher, so it is even difficult for them to cross. The crocodiles know that, and I'm sure they will take full advantage if the zebra do decide to cross. Once again, just to remind you, it doesn't mean they will cross when they get there. Chances are they might cross, but we can never predict. We just hear, very much like you seated up there. We just have to translate what is happening. Look at this. I don't know if somebody's gonna go in. Remember, that section is very deep. I have shared a crossing here with you guys before, if you remember, and it's very deep. So if they jump in, there's no going back if a few jump in. Okay, let's see. Can you hear the river? Yes, it's roaring. The rapids are rougher. Remember, we do come here, wait, and hopefully they go through. But we can never judge when it's going to happen. All we can do is sit here and hope they cross. That is a better place for them to cross. Although the river is higher, it's not as deep. They were not here this morning. There were only a handful. There were like 15. Now there are more, which means they're starting to want to come back across this way. There is 2 stallions there that are, squaring off for some reason. He's very wary, that guy. He's very careful. Maybe he's doing that through experience. This is the Mara River, and it does cut through the Mara. So they're going from one side of the Mara to the other. They are not crossing to Tanzania like many people think. it does cut through the Mara, so they're just crossing from one side of the Mara to the other. And if they do come across to where I am, definitely they will have to cross again further down to get into the Serengeti in Tanzania. I'm staking out this spot, so don't you worry. If something happens, definitely I will be glad to share it with you.
Hello and a very warm welcome to and beyond Pinda Private Game Reserve. Have a look at this beautiful view that stretches out beneath us here, out into the open savanna grasslands of the plains of the far south of our reserve. My name is Damon, and behind the camera this afternoon we've got Craig. And this afternoon myself and Craig are going to be exploring those beautiful open plains in search of the two dominant male cheetah that live in this area. They were seen earlier this morning, and apparently they were lying in the shade of a tree. It's been quite a hot day today, so there's a good chance that they would have gone to rest in some shade, and we should be able to hopefully catch up with them. Now look behind me. I don't know if you can see all the haze and there's kind of like a gloomy atmosphere to the air. There's the smoke from a far away fire that's drifting through, as well as the gloom of what appears to be an approaching thunderstorm coming from the southwest. You can hear the odd rumble of thunder, and there's quite a strong breeze that's picking up, so very ominous feel to the air, but a very exciting afternoon ahead of us. So, there we go. I don't know if you heard that, bit of a rumble of thunder. An absolutely magnificent view, and we're actually coming to you from the top of one of the mountains that starts the Ubombo Mountains. And from here, myself and Craig are going to drive down into those open plains to go see if we can find those cheetah.
Well, here we are down at Djuma Game Reserve, where it is very, very warm. It's about 32 degrees Celsius, 92 degrees Fahrenheit, and these two spotted eagle owls are down here in the Mawati trying to keep cool. This is where they normally do hang out, and I'm actually down here because I heard some alarm calls. Hi everyone, my name is Trishala and I have PK on camera this afternoon at Djuma Game Reserve, and I said it is hot, very, very hot, which is why I was surprised to hear alarm calls in the Mawati, because that means that something is moving, a predator, most definitely. But they were quite patchy, and that's why it's nice to kind of just stick around here where the vehicle is off and have a listen. And why not do that while we can still watch these wonderful spotted eagle owls? You can actually see that. Oh, so robotic in their movements. Their eyes are just so gorgeous. Now, I was saying that you can see at the bottom there, the one that's at the bottom almost looks like it's sitting on something. I'm so tempted to say she. It's very difficult to tell the sexes apart. But I almost want to say she because it looks like she's sitting on something, or it's sitting on something rather. Perhaps it is a nest. That would just be wonderful. Like I said, sexes are hard to tell apart. The males are just slightly larger than the females. They're both about 700 grams, under a kg most definitely. And the peak time for their egg laying is between August and October, the time that we are in right now. So this would be very, very exciting. But like I said, I do want to follow up and keep on going south in the Mawati, just in case there is a predator on the move. I did see an elephant in the Mawati, as well as some other impala that were not reacting. So perhaps there were just some males having some fun. Either way, we've got to check it out, because these clues are what lead us to those special predator sightings. Not that these are unspecial. These are spectacular too, and so special to see it during the day. But I'm going to head on out now and have a look for a predator. Okay, well, I am going to leave these two. Like I said, I did hear alarm calls. They were kind of half-hearted, but it's always worth following up. This is going to lead us south and towards Twin Dams anyway. And that would be a good spot to hang out if you are an elephant or a predator. So we're going to have a look.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Djuma. A very windy but sunny day here in Djuma Private Game Reserve, where my name is Steve, joined by Theo and camera, and you are with us in the ad break. So I'm not going to tell you too much about what's going on over here. We've got about 40 seconds before we discuss all that. But isn't this a wonderful tree? Up you go. Have a look at that. Beautiful. It's actually flowering. Can you see the flowers there? Afternoon and welcome back. Welcome to Djuma Private Game in Derby Sands, where you're joined by myself. And we're very excited to have you with us. And obviously, I'm out. Sorry about that, having a few audio issues. It is the wind. It is blowing the signal from where I'm standing. Let me come a bit closer. My name is Steve, joined by Theo on camera, and we're very excited to have you with us. I hope you can hear me now, but what we have got behind us here, it's a very tragic day, but it's part and parcel of nature. Looking behind me, you'll see there is an enormous weeping boerbean, or also known as a hail boerboon, which has been damaged and pushed down. Now, how it fell down, how it got damaged, is very hard to say exactly, but the wind might have damaged it, the wind might have pushed it eventually, but there is some insect damage inside the tree, which then would have caused it to fall. Insect damage could have been caused by elephants, could have been caused by tasking of elephants, could have been caused by woodpeckers, porcupine even, but over a period of time, eventually everything needs to come down. This tree fell down, and the elephants have thoroughly enjoyed it. You can see over here, all of this bark has been stripped of these branches and actually munched, completely eaten. That is, an elephant has taken its mouth and has crunched all the way along this stick to get all of the bark. Now, you might wonder, why on earth would the elephant feed on this wood or on the bark? And this tree in particular is very good, useful for human consumption. We can use it for, look at that, he's eaten, probably broken with a tusk, and then just stripped the bark. Now, human use, traditional use, this is well known for indigestion, heartburn, even for curing hangovers, the bark. And so no doubt elephants are aware of that, and they're able to walk up to a tree like this when they're feeling all of those tummy ailments, a little bit of sore throat or something going on in the digestive tract. They are very, very hungry animals, eating all the time, and I think they're smart enough to figure that out. So they definitely spend a bit of time eating this tree. It is very sad, but I have investigated it, and the tree is still alive. Even the part that's fallen down is still regrowing. It is still growing on the termite mound, and I'm sure this tree is going to see many, many more years.
Well, welcome back to the river in Masai Mara. And the same thing has been happening. They have been coming down, putting a leg or two, and then turning back. Looks like the mission here is to cross, but they haven't yet found a leader. They are milling around, going back, coming in. These are many dazzles forming one big dazzle, and the aim is to cross to this side. I don't know if they notice that the river is higher, and that's why it's taking longer, and that's why each one of them that goes in turns back. We haven't shown you that, but that's what has happened. But definitely the aim here is to go across or come across to where I am. Remember, these are some of the migrating animals. This time of the year, we do experience a huge migration of wildebeest, zebra, topi, Thompson's gazelle, eland, and even nomadic lions and leopards and hyenas. When this happens, about 3 million animals make a journey from the southern Serengeti all the way to the Masai Mara. During this time, they will crisscross this river when they arrive in the Mara to go to one side or the other. And this is what is happening right now. Lisa, you ask about if the zebra will wait for the wildebeest to cross. That never happens. Whoever comes here and decides they are the only ones, they will cross. If the zebra arrive, they won't wait for the zebra. They won't wait for the wildebeest. If the wildebeest arrive, they won't wait for the zebra. So in this case, there is nothing like waiting for the wildebeest. But when they come together, like let's say 1,000 wildebeest, 1,000 the zebra, it's a matter of who goes fast, then everybody follows. Then when they're together like that, we do mostly think it's mostly the wildebeest that's gonna go. But in this case, it's only zebra, and we think they won't wait for the wildebeest. Remember, when crossing this river, they face a lot of challenges. Apart from the flooding or the strong current, there is crocodiles, and the river is the main catalyst that does enough justice to keep the numbers down. The river takes more lives, more than lions, and other natural causes. I'm staying here. I'm not going anywhere because this is very exciting.
And a warm welcome to all our viewers at And Beyond Ngala this afternoon, where we have a hooded vulture in a marula tree. It's been an exceptionally hot day here. It's a bit humid and also very dusty in the atmosphere. And then underneath in the road, we have some lions. And as we can see, there's not too much happening at this point. Look how neatly they're all packed into the shade perfectly. That one even managed to move its head to have a bit of a lick at its shoulder. Now, myself, I'm Yapi, and behind the camera we have Gert. And this afternoon we thought we'd come back here. We heard that they had the lions here this morning. So we decided to come and have a look to see what they're doing. But since it was such a warm afternoon, you can see that's about the most movement we've seen over the past 15 minutes. And he's literally just repositioning. There's more lions where he is. You can see there's a bit of head rubbing going on, and he's going to flop down. There we go. And I think we'll sit a little while longer, see what these lions do.
How awesome is this? It's a little Pygmy Kingfisher. Oh, this is just great. I thought I saw one in the Mowati, and then I thought, no, I haven't seen one in such a long time. But there it is, a beautiful Pygmy Kingfisher. Aren't they just stunning? Now I like to come to this little pan because you get gorgeous little birds that come along. See a blue waxbill in the back there? Now these guys are tiny. They're only about 15 grams. Really gorgeous colors. just wonderful. Now, they like insects, so that's why they're hanging around here in other arthropods. You're going to see them look for crabs and frogs, little things that will hang around in a pan like this that is a little bit algae-ish. The water's quite still. Oh, that is such a gem of a find. So you see, this type of pond is just great for birds that are looking for little arthropods. Oh, I could stare at it all day. I think this is the first one we've seen for this season, which is awesome. So they move around in Africa, and they're generally present from September, October. So this is our first one that has arrived. Well done, thank you. And now it just has to battle the winds of the end of August. And then I'm sure we're going to see many more and other special birds at this lovely little pan as well. I'm going to stick around here and see what else shows up. I wish I could tell you how excited I am to see this Pygmy Kingfisher. So excited. I'm sure some of you are too. Ah! Where did you go? Ah, it's still here. All right, now I'm waiting for my pied kingfisher. And then I'll be having the time of my life at this little pond.
Nice one, Trish. How awesome is that? Don't get to see Pygmy Kingfishers all the time, and we've got a bird that is regarded as probably the most common bird of prey in the southern hemisphere, or in southern Africa anyway. This is a black-shouldered kite. I can't say I've seen many of them in Djuma, to be honest. This is probably the first one I can recall seeing in Djuma, although they're extremely common in the savannah and in southern Africa. Look at that red eye. And the reason I saw it was there were a few birds hanging around looking a little bit angry with life. Two starlings and a fork-tailed drongo. And I always have a look around, have a look at how camouflaged he is, although they're not the most camouflaged of birds. It's quite low down, probably been mobbed a little bit. These guys are very good at catching rodents, very good at hovering, seemingly hovering, using wind currents to hang above the ground. If you've ever spent any time driving through South Africa, through any of the maize and cornfield areas, open grassland areas, you'll have seen many of these birds just hanging around. Hello everybody, welcome back. I thought it was a bird that I've now changed my mindset on. This is actually a shikra. Now that it's turned, a shikra with a very red eye and the chest. I thought initially it was a black-shouldered kite when I first saw it. The way that its head was positioned, the head looked a little bit whiter or paler. But the shikra's also got very similar eye colour, but the shikra's also got those bands on the chest. So how special to see this bird sort of just sitting here in the bottom of a bush. Very well hidden, very well camouflaged. It's not designed for camouflage. These guys are designed for speed and for catching. They'll often sit perched, waiting for something to move, and then they'll pursue it. And we'll spend a moment with this shikra and see what it gets up to.
Welcome back to the river, and Now it's a mixture of wildebeest and zebra. The wildebeest have arrived and looks like they mean business. Look at that. They just arrived from the horizon and they're really going for it. Guys, it's really a good number. So cross your fingers and hopefully it happens. Remember, this is your live digital safari. Talk to us on #WildEarth. Shavi, you ask if there are fewer crocodiles in rough waters. Definitely yes, because it's not a very good place to swim. That is very true. You can also watch this on a live stream YouTube, Wild Earth. Look at this. They are arriving by the numbers. The line is endless across the horizon. This could be a very good crossing. So hopefully we get to experience another crossing after waiting for almost 6 days. They have been across the other side of the Mara, grazing. I'm sure they have been finding water, and now they think they have exhausted the grass, and now they want to come across to this side of the river. When that happens, it is always very exciting because the water itself, is quite, fast. Might sweep a few across or downstream. There is crocodiles. In this section, no, we have no small crocodiles, only the really big monster ones. We're talking 18 feet, 19 feet, 20 feet, really, really big ones. Remember, they have been feeding really, really well, so they're not as hungry, but because it is a predator, it will still go for, a live kill. Zebra or wildebeest. Okay, looks like there's a bunch of zebra wanting to come down there. There are few areas they can go down to go across. Mind you, if they finish the rapids closer to me, it is very deep water and not very good. If they knew what I was trying to tell them, where there is rapids is the best place to cross. But who am I to tell them anything? I'll just wait and see where they're going to go. Looks very promising, guys. A lot of discussion there. Is it the best place to cross? No. Let's go further up. Is it the best place to cross here? Yeah, I think so. Another one says no, so they move up, they come down, but eventually they will have to cross. Well, it is a very good number of them. And it's also quite a good group, a mixture of zebra and wildebeest. It will be a good crossing if it does happen. Remember, this happens only a very short time of the year, guys. Only from around end of June all the way to, mid November. Sometimes they stay longer and sometimes they go early. So to experience something like this in those 3 months will be very, very fortunate. Looks like a decision has been made there that this is not a very good crossing, and everybody has headed down. Through experience, I think they know there are crocodiles lurking. They don't trust that all those in the water there are rocks. Some rocks resemble crocodiles from the angle they are, and so they have to be very, very careful. Yeah, let me stay here and let's, experience something else, and we'll be right back if something happens.
Okay, guys, I've had a good look. This is actually a Malachite Kingfisher, which is even better, might I add, because this is the first Malachite Kingfisher that I have seen on Djuma. I've seen a Pygmy Kingfisher before, and this is the first Malachite Kingfisher that I've seen. It's quite difficult to tell the difference, but if we have a look at the eye, and we're at the end of our lens, it'll be a little bit difficult, but the Pygmy Kingfisher has quite a substantial band around its eye of orange, and you can see between the eye and the head over here there's no band of orange. It's just that lovely iridescent crown, which is malachite-ish in color. If you know the stone of malachite, it's a greeny stone, and you can see there's no kind of orange eyebrow. So it most definitely is a Malachite Kingfisher. And like I said, that's even more special. Rosalind, you'd like to know which is the smallest Kingfisher that we get. Well, the Pygmy Kingfisher would be the smallest one. That one's about 15 grams, like we said earlier. And this one is 17 grams. So the Pygmy is the smallest one that we get around here. You can actually see that this one is a juvenile, or at least coming into adulthood, because it's got a little black at the end of its bill. Can you see that? So it is a juvenile. Now, given that it's a Malachite Kingfisher and not a Pygmy Kingfisher, it is not an intra-African migrant. So they're residents, but we don't see them very often on Djuma at all. Like I said, in the 2 years that I've been here, this is the first Malachite Kingfisher that I am seeing. It is just awesome. You know, when I saw it, I didn't even consider that it could be a Malachite Kingfisher, because I've wanted to see one so much, and I'd never seen one before in Djuma. So this is so special, and I'm glad to share it with all of you.
Okay, welcome back again, and now we have a few in the water. Only drinking at the moment, but I don't know if they're going to take that, final step and start going across. It is very unpredictable, even in this situation where they're only drinking. They might decide to drink and come back. Further up there, I have some wildebeest deciding to get back. They were really close, but they decided to go back. I don't know if they'll come here.
Hello and welcome back to And Beyond Pinda. Myself and Craig did manage to find those two cheetah. Unfortunately, we were not able to film them though, and so we have carried on with our afternoon driving through the grasslands, and we've been very lucky to have found these two beautiful white rhinos.
Station West, I've looking
reason why I say lucky, so I don't know if you can hear in the background, it's quite a bit of wind that's blowing. And with that wind, often because rhinos rely so much on their hearing and on their sense of smell, and the wind of course blows scents around and makes things difficult to hear, they can often be quite nervous, and often if the wind is blowing very hard like this, they'll go and hide in thickets to try and get out of the wind a little bit, make use of the bushes as kind of windbreaks. But these two don't seem to mind the wind too much. They've come out into the open, striding across the grass there. Oh, and it seems like both of them have decided that it's time to move. Hello and welcome back. This time to, once again, and beyond Pinde Private Game Reserve. Myself and Craig have managed to find two beautiful white rhino, looks like actually two white rhino bulls actually from this distance. But I haven't had a chance to have a close look. See how they've got their heads down in the grass, busy feeding. Look at how often that rhino lifts its head and swivels its ears around, just listening. See how it stops quite frequently to look around. I was just saying a little bit earlier, I mentioned that the wind has been blowing quite a bit here. There seems to be an approaching storm, and that's making these rhinos a little bit uneasy, just because of the fact that there's smells being blown around all over the place, and the wind is maybe concealing sounds, making the grass rustle, so they can't hear so well. But have a look at how red that rhino is. Prasanna, you are apparently asking how the wind will affect the rhinos. Prasanna, so because rhinos rely very much on their sense of smell, very much on their sense of hearing, with very big ears, very big nostrils, but then pretty small eyes. So it's their hearing and their smell that they rely on more to detect other rhinos or the presence of danger or anything untoward. And so when the wind is blowing very strongly like it is now, like I said, the smells get kind of wafted around, and they can't necessarily determine which direction the smell is coming from as easily, and they also can't hear sounds as well as they normally would, and they can't pinpoint sometimes where the sounds are coming from. So it does often make them a little bit jittery, a little bit nervous. I can assure you that it's not us that's making them nervous. The wind is blowing from them to us, and at this distance they probably can't see us here, and we're being pretty quiet, so I doubt they can hear us. And of course they won't be able to smell us because we're downwind. But I was saying, look at how dark and almost reddish brown this rhino is. Almost the same color as the soil here. And so I think he's had a good mud wallow this afternoon. I mentioned earlier it's been quite a hot day, and this rhino would have gone and rolled around in the mud to cool himself off. Now the wind, of course, blowing onto his body, drying that mud slowly. And he would have no doubt, once he was out of that mud wallow, gone and rubbed himself on a stick or a stump or a rock to help him to get rid of parasites.
We have a lilac-breasted roller that's come to join the party. Come to say, I'm also colourful. Indeed you are. But unfortunately, Roller, I do see many of you. And you do excite me with your marvelous array of colours. But our Malachite Kingfisher is still sitting pretty. Now, it'll sit there kind of staring at the water for quite a long time before it decides that it sees something worth the dive. I'm sitting here hoping that we'll get to see it. I feel like... Oh, hello, painted snipe. That's why I love sitting at this little waterhole. The most gorgeous birds. Here is a painted snipe. Really getting ruffled up by the wind at the moment. You just saw it wading through the water, moving its legs around, walking very carefully. Trying to free up any of the worms and insects that may be in the water there, so it can gobble them up. Perhaps that's why the Malachite Kingfisher is sitting there and watching the snipe, looking for any prey of its own also.
I just love that snipe. Awesome, Trish. Well done for finding it again. Well, everybody, spring is definitely almost sprung. The tip of this tree, you can just see the little buds coming out there. How cool is that? Now, everybody, identification of trees can be tricky sometimes, but this is a tree that's very easy identified. You notice the tips of the branches are quite fat and stubby, almost like fat fingers on the end of the tree branches. Remember that, because we'll detail a little bit more. But as Theo goes, oh, here we go, there's another leaf at the bottom popping out. Ah, spring is springing, everybody. And that is so exciting. So exciting. Now, this is a beautiful marula tree. We'll be pushing out a whole lot of compound leaves. Very characteristic tree out of the landscape. You can see it's almost got a very mushroom-like sort of appearance to it. And when it's got leaves on it, very, very mushroom-like. And here we can see more leaves pushing out further down the tree. There we go. Now, those leaves are classified as compound, which means that they divide a few times. It's not one big sort of solid leaf surface. It's a leaf that is broken up into a number of smaller leaflets. And so that is why we call it compound. There's nothing too difficult about it. It's just that each of those little leaflets you see there are actually part of a larger leaf. And I'll detail that for you a little bit more if you need. But marula's very common out here, and all of the South Africans and many of international people will know of the amarula cream, South African favourite liqueur made out of the marula fruit, which by October we will know how many fruits this tree will be fruiting, and by January the elephants are going to be going crazy. So very easy to identify a marula by those fat, stubby sort of branchlets at the end, the mushroom-like shape, and by the fact that they've got a compound leaf. There is another batch of leaves pushing through. And you can see how the wind is blowing. See how shiny they are. When marula leaves have come of age, they actually got a very sort of whitish, sort of milky coloration to them. They're green, but they've got a white sort of milky sort of outer sheen to it. They don't shine like that. New leaves like this are very, very good to eat. They haven't got any chemicals yet, any tannins, but later on they will be very, very difficult to eat for the most part.
These two white rhinos are still slowly feeding their way through the scrub here and still being as alert as ever. Got those ears swiveling around. There's the one on the left, and just off to the right you might be able to make out the second one somewhere in there. There we are. There's that very dark brownish red color, and those ears. Look at how they rotate independently of each other, almost like a chameleon's eyes. Ari, you're asking about the natural predators of rhino. Well, Ari, because a white rhino is such a big animal, I mean, just their physical size alone is normally enough to deter any predator from attacking them. Of course, they also have those formidable horns. These here, having been dehorned, don't have as formidable of a horn. But obviously that's still a factor. So most predators will normally leave them alone. However, lions, if there's enough lions, they will try and take on a rhino, especially if the rhino is sick or old or even a young rhino or nutritionally stressed. And Ari, I've even heard of hyenas, clans of hyenas that have ganged up on or hunted young sub-adult rhino that have just been pushed away from their mothers and that are kind of trying to find more rhinos to associate with, and they've been alone, and the hyenas took advantage of that and they were able to bring the young rhino down. But it's very, very seldom that happens, Ari, because, like I said, they're a very big animal, very tough for predators to kill, and the amount of energy that would require and the chance of success is pretty low. Well, amount of energy is a lot, chances of success pretty low, and of course for animals out here it's all about energy conservation, and so it might be a waste of the energy to try. But I think these two rhinos at this size, they're pretty safe.
And here we have a woolly-necked stork. It's been a great little birding area here today. I cannot tell you how excited I am to see the Malachite Kingfisher. If I could just explain, I've seen that kingfisher on the cover of so many books of mine, from childhood to now, and I had never seen one in the wild, let alone at Juma. Never, always on books. And this woolly-necked stork, I see them quite often because they like to hang out in KZN. And we have a very, very close encounter happening here, guys. Too much attention. Yeah, my key's actually swinging in the wind. So yes, I was telling you that we do see the woolly-necked stork in KZN quite a bit. So I have seen them before, but I'm excited about it too. Yes, you're very exciting. The birding today has been spectacular. Here's the woolly-necked stork. On the other side of the dam wall, we had the Malachite Kingfisher and the painted snipe on the southern side of the dam wall, and here on the northern side is a woolly-necked stork. Now, lots of you who live in KZN would see them quite a lot, especially when you go to any kind of natural area, like the wetlands or mangroves, estuaries. You'll see woolly-necked storks. I remember seeing them growing up. And here's one all the way in Juma. We don't see them too often, but I'm certainly glad to share this one with all of you.
Jumbo, jumbo, hello, hello. That's true, Trishala, because you must have been traveling at that time. And I got giraffes here, which are looking very suspiciously at a distance and not exactly sure what they are looking at. And as they'll be finding out what they'll be looking at, I first want to introduce myself. And my name is David, and with me in the camera is Bungay. And we are bringing you the Maasai giraffes, and there's a whole herd of them here. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about a dozen giraffes where we are. They normally move in herds of anything from 5 to 50. The largest herd of giraffes that I've ever seen were about 100. But that's a long time ago. Hello, giraffe. One big advantage they got, they can reach any top bush they want to feed on. And to all of you, I'm giving you jumbo back. Many thanks to hear your jumbos, or from wherever you are in the world. And we all know giraffes are browsers. So once in a while you see them go that low. They'll not get any grass, but there's certain small little bushes or vegetation they love. And ideally what they're doing there, they're just picking the soft leaves. We have seen them sometimes using their lips, which are prehensile, to pick leaves out of the bushes, just like the black rhinos, which are also browsers. Quite an angle they go when you see them going lower than what they normally eat because of their long necks. And you'll notice they don't take so long, eating without stopping and putting their head up and looking, what could be happening, you see? But I'm imagining if the bush was quite tall, maybe the same height like the giraffe, they could keep eating for a longer time, because the only thing she may want to do is just to swing her head left or right to see whether there's any concern of any danger. So they've got very special valves in their heads that is able to hold the blood instead of, because they don't get so much pressure in their head, and very quickly, if need be, they can put up their head and the blood flow will continue the same. Not bad to start with the giraffes. I want to move on and find out if I might get something else interesting. Well, welcome back to the river, and now I have only a handful of wildebeest that are interested in coming my way. Big percentage of the big herd we saw earlier has headed out, but I'm not leaving this position because it's not always when they give you an indication that they're heading away that they go away. They always turn back. It's like they're also watching me and to see my behavior, if I'm gonna give up and go, and then they come back. Like you can see, most of these guys had headed out and they have stopped and looking back. They are thinking, what are we doing? He's not going anywhere, so do we go back and cross or not? The last few are leaving. Mind you, it doesn't mean that they are gone. So don't panic, don't give up, stay positive. This is live, this is happening now in the beautiful Masai Mara in Kenya. Let's see what's gonna happen. Sometimes it just takes one, even if all of them have headed out of the river, it just takes one to come down to the water, and everybody turns around. Everything changes if one goes down to the water. See those ones there? They look a little bit confused. Standing, not facing water, not facing away. They're just, there, wondering, do we go or do we cross? Do we go or do we cross? Do we go or do we cross? No, let's go cross. Look at this. I'm staying here. If they do come across, don't you worry.
Thanks, Isaac. I know exactly how it feels. I spent an entire month in the Mara last year, sitting at those crossings all day, waiting for them to go, waiting for them to cross. And you're back with us here, live in Najuma, in the Sabi Sands, everybody, where this poor little giraffe was coming down to drink. Not a little giraffe, that is, quite a big fellow. And there was a hippo out the water. I don't know if you can still get him. There he is, over there. Sorry, he's just behind the tree now. Let me move back slightly. And he was out the water, upstream, and he decided to come back. Maybe because he heard our car. And he went into the water. There we go. And then he started splashing around, and our giraffes decided, I'm not going to drink that. And he's decided to walk away. Oh. It is what it is. This is Treehouse Watering Hole. haven't seen many animals drinking here in my life, but in the last 3 days I've seen enormous amounts. So it really is interesting how much water is in these watering holes at this late part of the season. And this is also only the second year that I've seen hippos in my 3 years here in this watering hole. We're going to do a bushwalk segment once right next to the watering hole here with a wonderful little tree, and suddenly hippo emerged. He was like, whoops, I'm here. Okay, we'll go somewhere else. Hippos can be very territorial, everybody, and they obviously move in response to water that's available, where they can cover their whole bodies. They feel very comfortable in the water, very, very comfortable when they can submerge. And they can't submerge, though, and it becomes just a muddy, shallow puddle. They can become extremely dangerous. So even with a vehicle, if you have a puddle of just mud and a hippo, it's best to avoid getting too close, because they can be quite aggressive towards you and the vehicle. Spas has been sort of possible. You want to know if a crocodile would attack a giraffe? I think anything's possible. You know, a big male crocodile, the heaviest I've ever heard of, is about 1,000 kilograms. And average big male giraffe is 1,500. So a small giraffe, could get attacked by a crocodile. They do spend enough time staring at the water waiting to drink that would give the crocodile plenty of time to work towards that. But I've never seen it. I've never heard of a giraffe being killed by a crocodile, but that's not to say it hasn't happened. Well, our wonderful giraffe is going to meander off into the distance. Poor fellow. There are some much broader leaves than we saw before.
Closing into.
And some starlings shouting over the watering hole. Our hippo has claimed himself a new territory. We do thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Thank you for your questions and comments. We hope we will see you again tomorrow afternoon at the same time. And we'll be continuing on the next 2 hours or so. And thank you for your comments, questions from all of our wonderful locations. Look forward to catching up with you again soon. Until then, good day and goodbye. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Sunset Safari, coming to you live from Treehouse watering hole with a grumpy hippo who just splashed around and chased away our giraffe. My name is Steve, joined by Theo. Very excited, as always, to have you with us on the live safari, and questions, comments are most welcome. Send them through #WildEarth. Throw them in on the YouTube chat stream. Alternatively, if Twitch is your method of communication, please go ahead and do that. And kids' questions, the entire 2 hours, please send them through to kidsequestions@wildearth.tv. At least our hippo is not alone anymore. He's got a friend who's going to give him a little bit of a grooming.
Hello again from and beyond Punda Private Game Reserve. Myself and Craig have heard these monkeys alarm calling from a distance, and we've come to see what they are shouting at. My name is Damon. Behind the camera, as I said, is Craig. And it seems that as we got here, these monkeys have just kept quiet. So I think whatever predator it was that was causing them distress and causing them to alarm call has moved off out of the area, unfortunately. But they are in some particularly beautiful trees. So let's have a closer look at those lovely greenish yellow trees, which are, of course, fever trees. But have a look in the top of this one's canopy. Can you see all of those little bits of yellow all throughout the canopy of the tree? And those are all the little flowers that this tree is producing. And there's the most wonderful fragrance that these trees are giving off. Quite a few of these trees growing down in this little ravine, this little drainage system. This being the preferred habitat of these fever trees, near to water. And all that's beautiful scent getting trapped down there in the bottom of that dip. And these flowers will be attracting all different kinds of pollinating insects, but also things like blister beetles a little bit later when things start to warm up and they start to become a bit more active. And no doubt the monkeys would have also been in those trees. Apparently lots of you commenting saying how much you love fever trees. They're such a special tree and kind of a very typical tree of this part of South Africa, here in northern KwaZulu-Natal. And we just heard it sounded like a tawny eagle calling off in the distance. So I wonder if that isn't maybe what the monkeys were alarm calling at. I don't know if you can hear the rumbling thunder also behind me. Looks like there's a big lightning storm moving in. Myself and Craig are going to keep on moving, and we're going to see what else we can find for you this afternoon.
Yeah, welcome back to the Mara, and I am still here at the river. They keep teasing us like they want to cross, and then they change their mind and they want to go out into the plains, and they leave the river completely, then turn around. This is the games they play when at the crossing. Sometimes, like I've said before, it takes very few minutes for them to gather the courage to go across, and sometimes it takes very long. You always have to appreciate, those documentaries you see before of them, showing you them coming and just going across. This is happening in real time. This is live, so we haven't edited anything. This is what is happening right now in the Masai Mara. This is your live safari. If you want to talk to us, #WildEarth is the place. You can also watch this on YouTube live stream. They want to cross the Mara River. This is a decision that has to be made, and it is a very serious one. The river is not a walk in the park. It's full of crocodiles and many obstacles like rocks. So, through experience, some of these wildebeest and zebra know that they won't just, it won't just be easy going across. Mind you, the river is slightly, higher today. You can tell by the rapids, you can tell by the sounds. So, they're being very, very careful. During the migration, they do. Yeah, Michelle, thank you for your question. You ask if we see any crocodiles from where we are. Of course, there are a few. James will be showing you some crocodiles. I did see one not very far from the far left wildebeest. He's on that, among those rocks there. But he went in. We'll be sharing that with you. He's somewhere there. He disappeared. We don't see any close by here, but definitely they are there. I did see one and disappeared, but at the moment we don't see. Okay, guys, I don't know if it's going to happen. Cross your fingers. But definitely, if it does happen, we'll see some crocs. I think I can point out one, but it's very well camouflaged in the water and rocks. That zebra really wanted to go. She's confused now. It is a tough decision to be the first one to go across. Most of the first ones that go across usually survive. They make it because all the crocodiles are caught by surprise, unaware, and so they do make it. That's a very interesting place they're coming through. You cannot see any path because of the long grass, so they're just, appearing like, little ghosts. I'm gonna use my binoculars and see if that's a crocodile I was seeing earlier. Susan, thank you for your comment. You know, you're keeping your fingers crossed. Hope they will cross. Thank you for it very much for your positive attitude. Yeah, they will cross. The question is when. Yeah, they have been here for almost an hour now, going up and down, approaching the water, touching and going back. Some of these wildebeest and zebra crossed here, and some of them crossed further down. And so they know that this is not an easy place to just come and go. Actually, I've scanned around, and there's only one croc, but he's very far away. You cannot see him on the screen. So they are there, but the only one we see is one. Look at this now. They're heading out into the open. Remember, this doesn't mean that it's over. They sometimes just go out there, and within 5 minutes they turn around and come down. I'm gonna keep watching them. Hopefully they decide to come across before it's dark.
Thanks, Isaac. Well, hopefully those zebra don't get cold feet. Our zebra. Our zebra are slowly making their way down to the water as well. Here on the other side of Treehouse. We're hoping they're going to come down anyway. I had a magical sighting yesterday afternoon about the same time with herd of zebra, a massive herd of impala and kudu, all coming down here to drink. So maybe like the giraffe, they were walking away. Hopefully they'll come down. Now, Trishana's told me she's been seeing some birds of prey in this area that she hasn't been able to identify. So I'm just having a look around. I just saw an African Harrier hawk flying away there. So by the description, I'm not able to figure out either. But I'm almost thinking it is an African Harrier hawk that she's been looking at. Not this starling that we see here, wonderful starling, making so much noise, the Birchall's starling. A pair of binoculars, everybody. Some snacks and something to drink, something cold to drink. Parking out at a watering hole. That's my happy place right there. Hey, Theo. Theo's happy place as well as the hippos.
Myself and Craig have managed to find 2 Wahlberg's eagles. Now, I'm not sure that I doubt that these are what those monkeys were alarm calling at, seeing as the Wahlberg's eagle is a little bit too small to really trouble something as large as a monkey. But it is exciting nonetheless to see these 2 as a monkey. But it is exciting nonetheless to see these 2 the tree. There it goes. See, now, once that eagle did that, if those monkeys had seen if the monkeys had seen a crowned eagle or a martialed eagle doing that, they definitely would have started to alarm call. So that tells us for sure that it wasn't those Wahlberg's eagles that the monkeys were alarm calling at. But as I was saying, so migratory eagles that have just come back from spending the austral winter up in North Africa, in the band of Sahara. The band of Savannah below the Sahara Desert, known as the Sahel, kind of from Cameroon across to the Sudan, Niger, and yeah, very exciting to see them back. Some of the first migratory birds of prey that we've seen back here at Ambient Pinder. We've seen some yellow-billed kites in the last few weeks. But Steve was just saying, very important to have a good pair of binoculars with you, and that's especially important when it comes to identifying brown birds of prey, seeing as there's quite a few that can get relatively easily confused. And so I'd just like to show you in the bird book quickly just 2 of those, or 3 of those species that get pretty easily confused here in Southern Africa. So here is a picture of the Wahlberg's eagle. And I think these are the color morphs that we're looking at now, these very dark birds. See kind of 3 different color morphs that we see: a lighter brown, a darker brown, and then this very pale morph over here. They are, of course, all the same species though. So here, look at this Wahlberg's eagle up here at the top. Look at that crest at the back. There's quite a sharp crest to the back of the head with a little tuft on the top there. And that's quite a defining feature of the Wahlberg's eagle while it's perched. Another very important feature, I don't know if you saw when that one flew, is the tail. It's got a very narrow tail. Look at how thin that tail is. And those are both very distinctive features. Now, a bird that might get confused, or you might get confused with, in terms of the Wahlberg's eagle, is the lesser spotted eagle over here. It's quite a similarly sized bird, also a migratory eagle that comes down here to southern Africa, but not to breed, just to feed. And then by contrast, look at the back of the head. See, there isn't that same crest. The legs they're often described as if they're wearing tight leggings or stovepipe jeans. Very kind of much shorter feathers growing around the legs, and then also on the back in flight. See how that tail is much more fanned out, and there's a little white V on the rump. And those are pretty much the two kind of brown eagles that are very easily confused with each other, just because they're both a similar size and they're both migratories. They both arrived back in South Africa around a similar time. There's a whole bunch of birds that have started to fly around. Now there's a woolly-necked stork that's just flying overhead there. Very exciting to see these Wahlberg's eagles coming back, and looking forward to watching them over the next few months as they start to look for a site to build their nest.
Welcome back, guys, and what good timing, just you're on time to see that wildebeest come down. Is he gonna take the leap of life? Okay, you're choosing a place where she thinks it is best for her, at the same time observing and looking at the rocks, making sure there is no crocodile. And I think she has made up her mind that I'm not the first one. Okay, and a different activity upstream, another female with her calf. Remember, the calf is staying very close, because this is the worst time that can happen to the calf, is that when going across, they will lose one another, either by the calf delaying to swim across and the mother being mixed up with other females, or one of them being taken. It does happen, and sometimes it is important if both of them survive and make it to go across, and then they get separated. That is the hardcore way of the wildebeest, where the young ones get wind, they become independent immediately. Well, of course, you will see them out in the plains calling, always calling, maybe for 2-3 days. It's not always a good sight to see, but it does happen. And then eventually they learn how to tough it and start grazing and start a new life. That is one way of how they get wind. Also, the other way is, when Shizzle, do you ask about the smell along the river? Where I am, there is no smell. It's just very beautiful breeze and very fresh air. No smell at all. All the carcasses have been washed downstream, so it's a very fresh smell here, no particular smell. Okay, looks like more appearing, but nobody really want to take that fast leap. The pressure is growing because there is more and more coming from behind, and so I don't know when it's gonna happen, but it looks very promising. Look at this, they're coming more and more. These young ones, you see them following their mothers, were born in February, March, and most of them are making their first migration, and probably maybe even their first crossing. Look at this, they're coming in larger numbers. Remember, they were here, they decided to head out, and then they've turned back. Maybe they realize the next crossing is farther away, and they don't need to waste time, they need to come and go across. But this is what they do. All we do is park here, and hopefully, they will go across. Over there, we have a different herd of zebra that has decided to go right. There is a crossing on that side. So now we have two potential crossing waiting to happen. But if they do cross on the first crossing that we were looking at, everybody will turn back and come, this way. I'm hoping that happens, because if they do go where those zebras are going, it's a difficult spot to park for a good view. So let's hope they cross here. Okay, what's happening? Remember, this is happening live. It's happening now in the Masai Mara. The temperature has cooled down now. It's really beautiful. It's cool, so it's very nice even for the hippos being out there. Now I have two potential crossings waiting to happen. One is quite a long way, to my right, and then this one we're looking at. I'm going to concentrate on this one. If the other one happens, I'm going to drive there. So I'm going to wait right here.
Welcome back to Joom, everybody. Fortunately, we had a wonderful bird sitting on top of this hippo's head, black-spit lapwing. There's really no concern for the hippo's well-being. And now I had a herded zebra come down and drink as well. They've just moved off. Here we go. Got a lurie grey go bird. My apologies. Just about to come down and drink. He's got a friend as well. So, as you can see with Isaac, he can sit there and you can prepare yourself. You can be in the right position and things can change. We were in the right position on the other side there with the hippo trying to wait for the zebra. And then the zebra came down and changed angle and then came and drank in the wrong place. So, I remember with the crossings last year, Jeandre and myself were up and down trying to find where the wildebeest were going to go. They're very indecisive. But when it starts, and you really hope you're in the right position when it starts. This wonderful grey goer bird. So peaceful, having a drink. Angie, I actually don't know off the top of my head how many teeth a hippo has. They don't have very many, to be honest. They've got a few incisors, which have either... going to have the lapwings going to land on his head again. No. We've got a few incisors, which are referred to as the tusks. And there's a few smaller ones, and then molars at the back. Wow. So Kirsty's just told me that hippo have up to 40 teeth. So 36 teeth, includes a canine, and 2 incisors, premolars, and 3 premolars and 3 molars on each side. When they open their mouth, there appears to be an enormous amount of space in there, though, lots of gaps between, and yet 36 teeth is quite a few. But the ones in the front, the tusks, or the canines, as you'd also call them, are designed for no purpose other than fighting, and they actually move against each other when the animal moves its mouth. They use their lips to graze the grass. And let's quickly send you over to the Mara.
Welcome back, guys, and it has happened in the crossing downstream. The zebras have gone across. They have decided to be the leaders. Those ones have stopped. They're watching the others. If they're gonna succeed, they have decided to go back. Yes, about 5 crossed, and everybody else has gone back. who am I to say anything? They might come back. You see there's a crocodile on to the right of the screen. He's heading back. I think that's what spooked the zebras. Are they gonna come back? They're coming back in full force now. There we go. There they come. Are we gonna go? The crocodile is off. For some reason, they've been doing that, going into those rocks and then coming down. Okay, I don't know what is the strategy here, but that one, is she gonna go? Are you gonna go, zebra? I don't know what exactly is happening. They're going back to the rocks, but it's a matter of one just taking the leap and then everybody will go. They will come back because there's no other way apart from coming down where you see. Let's see what's gonna happen. Remember, this is live. It's happening now in Masai Mara. We're just about to witness another great crossing. A few did cross, and those ones are, we're hoping they're going to cross. For some reason, they've gone into the trees. Are they gonna come down? I cannot explain why they're turning to the left there and going into the rocks. They're not coming out anywhere, but they're piling up into that small bush. All the wildebeest, all the zebra, you see them there. Anytime they'll come out off to the right, we'll share that. They're inching in, slowly. If those ones at the beach there decide to go in, everybody will come down. Sherry, you ask something about the rocks. Please repeat again. I'm here. Okay, guys, you need to take that straight route. Don't go into the rocks. Well, they might get stuck. Yeah, they do get stuck. They do break their legs. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Those ones, don't you worry, those ones that went into the bushes there are not going anywhere. They just piled up into that bush. We cannot see them well, but they just piled up there and they will come down. There's nowhere to cross apart from where that beach is or, where the rocks are to the right. All those wildebeest and zebra we saw earlier from the fast crossing are here now, and it's just a matter of one going across and everybody will go across. About 5 of them did cross, and I think the one that decided to stop has crossed before and it's very experienced, and so it decided, okay, I don't think it's safe, so I'm not crossing. The river is really roaring. You can hear it. I think they can hear that and they know it's higher than before. Look at those bushes there. All those are wildebeest, the zebra. Good camouflage, If you look carefully, you'll see how many there are back there, even inside the bush. Okay, they're starting to come back because there's nowhere to go. They have to come, down on those rocks or by that sandy beach. This is something that happens almost every other week during the migration. They have to go across the other side. They have to come back this way to, the Mara Triangle. It happens throughout the migration, which is around 3 months. It is very important to keep the animals in check and also to feed the fishes and the crocodiles. Yeah, I cannot see, down there, but I'm sure they're piled up there, the wildebeest and zebra. We have nobody close to the water. They're turning back now. You cannot believe this. They're turning away and heading back to the fast crossing. It is Lanka, you ask if the migration lasts than 3 months. I think we count the period that they arrive and stay here is around 3 months. But down in Tanzania, they spend almost 9 months moving around the huge, massive Serengeti and the adjacent, conservancies like the Ngorongoro Crater, Lake Maswa, Maswa Game Reserve, all those. They move around those areas for around 9 months, but we count about the 3 months that we have them here. That is not a very good crossing, wildebeest. If you jump there, you will break your neck or leg. So maybe continue on left, but I cannot decide for you. Mind you, they have a mind of their own and they can decide to just come down. I've seen it happen. I'm sure you have seen it happen somewhere. I told you, these animals are very interesting. Where they were was a perfect crossing for them just to go down and just come across. But they have decided they don't want to use it. They are coming to this very, very precarious, primitive drop. And it will take just one to come down and everybody will take the leap. I am thinking that they notice the waters are higher, the current is heavier, and that is what is stopping them from just coming across. Because from the first crossing to my left, one took a leap, a zebra before, went back, and where they just crossed, about 5 of them crossed, and then the rest stopped. So I believe they know the current is stronger and the water level is higher, and they are trying to find maybe a place much easier to cross. Look at these guys. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what everybody has been waiting for. I'm hoping they're going to come my way because I'm really desperate for wildebeest on my side. They went across and I've been driving for days without seeing this kind of herds. So I am looking forward to wake up tomorrow and find these guys if they cross now, on this side, and I'll be very, very happy. Look at that, guys. They are heading out into the open. Is that toad? Sorry, I didn't hear the name clearly, but how old they need to have to be to cross. There is no age limit. There is no age limit to when they have to cross. When they are here, even if they are 6 months, they will cross. Most of them arrived here when they are over 5 months old because they're born in February. And so most of them take their leap, they take their first leap at the age of about 5 months. Look at these guys. They've turned around completely. We thought they were going to cross, where those zebras had, were touching the water and walking on the rocks, but it has turned. Things have turned, and they are heading towards the first crossing. Look at this. I am hoping they will do it now because it's getting late. I hope they realize this. I don't know if they keep time, so I'm hoping they're gonna come soon. This is amazing. This is what we've been waiting for. Now the only thing remaining is a matter of them going into that water and swimming across. Looks like we found a leader. He's running really fast. Yeah, looks like very frisky. Remember, they're also called the clowns of the plains. I'm gonna reposition quickly. Kuna gari hapo? Hapa kuna nafasi hapa? Okay. Repositioning. Okay, I don't know if this is it now, guys, but there is a lot of pressure coming in from behind. Sometimes I wonder if they're watching me, they think I want to cross, because I don't know when they're gonna, cross. This is amazing. This is fun to watch. Wildebeest and zebra behavior at the crossing is very different from when they're grazing out there. Okay, this is it. Come on, guys. We've been waiting for this. Steve, yeah, you'll cheer if they all make it across the river. Let's wait and see. I cannot say anything about that, but it's going to be one very interesting crossing if it does happen, Steve. Yeah. Usually for us as guides, as naturalists, we love it when the current is higher. Even if it's just a few wildebeest, it takes longer for them to cross. It's just not a walk in the park. And you see them really struggling to go across. Over here, the urge to cross is growing. The pressure to go, to cross is growing. You can tell. Now, right in front of me here, there is a bush that's stopping me from seeing, but I have zebra right here, right in front. I don't know if you see them. They're coming. Here they are. Very interesting. I've never seen, animals come across here, but this is amazing, guys. I don't know if they're gonna come across. Everybody is parked across the other side, hoping they're gonna cross. Same as we on this side. I'm accompanied by around another 6-7 vehicles, waiting for this to happen. Very, very exciting. Sorry, I didn't get your name, but yes, rapids differ from one place to the other. Over here, they're quite rough. Sorry, you can't get that name, really. Sorry, couldn't get your name. Yes, there are different rapids areas. Here, I would say they are the most roughest rapids and the most loudest. Most other places, there's not as many rapids along the stretch that I know. Really, really beautiful. They are all trying to find somebody to lead them across. Nobody is volunteering. It is very risky. Every now and then I see a few zebra, wildebeest wanting to go across, but nobody is really wanting to take that fast, attempt. What is happening now? They're all moving again off to the right. It is not over, remember? Yeah, they. Yeah. This is what happens when you're at the river. They will, come very close and get your heart pounding. Then they will turn around, head out. Then, half an hour later, come back. Today, I don't know what is happening, but stay with me. We still have a very good number. Yeah, let me stay here, and hopefully they will come back.
Exotic, how special it is indeed. The energy of those crossings can really be something else. Well, everyone, we've got one of the most majestic trees on the property, this wonderful jackalberry tree. And what's amazing, because I said it to Theo 2 days ago, it was devoid of leaves. It dropped all its leaves, almost all the leaves, and the fruits were everywhere. It is littered with fruit, and now suddenly, 2 days later, there are leaves everywhere pushing through. I find it amazing. This jackalberry tree drops all of its leaves within a day, and then within 2 days, after 3 days, it's completely recovered. But all the fruit, Diospirus mespiliformes, the jackalberry, wonderful fruits, pears of the gods. You can distill the fruits and make a wonderful little brandy. They actually taste sort of pearish, the flavour of the fruits when you get a ripe one, if you can find a ripe one. The birds go crazy. And not that the moon is there, but is that the moon or is that a cloud? That is a cloud. Okay, but the fruits, I thought you're being very artistic there. The fruits have been seen, Jackal eating them, of course. So probably the first person came across like, oh, we'll call that a jackalberry. And the name is stuck. Everything will eat these fruits. All the animals we find, many of the fruit-eating birds, mammals, as well as us.
In a very exciting turn of events, everyone, myself and Craig to find another coalition of male cheetah. This is the second coalition in quite a small area that myself and Craig have covered this afternoon. But again, two big male cheetah, and not male cheetah that we're used to seeing in this part of the reserve. So there's potentially going to be some, if these cheetah move kind of 2 kilometers to their north, then they will definitely be able to see the first coalition that myself and Craig managed to find earlier this afternoon. So potentially not only the storm, the actual storm behind me that's brewing, but potentially a storm in terms of a potential cheetah fight brewing. Apparently lots of people are very excited to see cheetah. So I can't believe that we've seen 4 male cheetah in one afternoon in this one little area. But for the time being, look at that cheetah's tummy and how it's heaving up and down, how it's quite full. Him and his brother have obviously managed to catch and kill something during the day. And they're now taking it easy and resting. Just see his head poking up out of the grass there, and then of course that long body of his. Have a look at his brother, who's not lying too far away. Some of you may recognize these two. And well, how chewed and torn it is, and also how pale his color is. So the two males that are known as the South males, the new South males, recently introduced into the reserve. And it may be that because they're new to this area, that they're busy expanding, they're busy exploring, walking around to see where other cheetah territories are, smelling as they go, and scent marking as they go, and testing the boundaries, testing the other male cheetah in the area to see if they're up to the challenge of competing with them, and where can they gain more territory. That male grooming himself on the right there. Radio collar on the left-hand side of his neck. As I said, new male cheetah recently introduced into the reserve. And so just to keep track of their movements, our researchers have attached the collar onto him just to see where they go and which areas they explore.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, we are still with our jackalberry tree. It hasn't gone anywhere. But Theo was indeed being very artistic before everyone. Well, I just couldn't see it. There you go. There is the moon. Can we get a howl from all of you? Arr! There's something in the water. I'm only joking. It is a wonderful afternoon. There we go. Kirsty's howled. Give us all a howl, everybody. Make your friends and family look at you strangely. Bernice, you want to know if there's any spring flowers you can make into tea? At the moment, we have to wait for the rains. I'm thinking what spring flowers... you've stumped me. Spring is on its way, and indeed the summer is to follow, and with it all the flowers, and that information is going to be pouring out of me soon, and I am suddenly lost for words. Lost for words. There's going to be many leaves and drinks to be drunk, many teas to be had, many decoctions. But off the top of my head, I am completely at a loss for spring flowers, making a tea, herbal tea. I know teas are very favourable around the world, and there are many flowers around here. I can't think of any that are as a nice as sipping tea. Off the top of my head, I'm afraid my spring information seems to have filed itself away in a deep recess in the brain. It'll be coming back, though. It'll be arriving soon as spring emerges. It will unshelve itself. It's password protected at the moment. But spring is definitely in the air, and with it will come the wild flowers, which we're very excited about, as well as the impala lambs and the migratory birds. The first one that I saw back yesterday already, the Wahlberg's eagle. And there is a black-collared barbet. Hello, fellow. How wonderful are these guys? You can see why they get the name Black Collar. And he likes to eat those fruits.
Have a look at that beautiful scene. The sun is starting to make its way down towards the horizon, and there's those dramatic clouds all around it. A big thunderstorm that's rolling in. There's thunder rumbling to the south of us. And then these two beautiful big male cheetah. Look how the one brother's not getting up, going to his brother. See if they maybe rub heads, maybe lie down close together. Beck, you're asking if these cheetah were introduced from another wilderness area or if they were captively bred. Beck, currently there's very few ventures that have been successful where they've tried to introduce captive bred cheetah into a wilderness area where there are other large predators. It normally doesn't work just because cheetah are so vulnerable to attack by bigger predators like lions and leopards, hyenas. So Beck, these cheetah did come from another game reserve, one not very far away from us. And they are, because here in South Africa, cheetah are very closely monitored in terms of their genetics. And so cheetah on private land, whenever they are moved from reserve to reserve, careful note is made of their genetics. And the aim is to keep them or keep the populations of cheetah as genetically biodiverse as possible, in order to have successful, to as best as possible conserve them. And so very careful note is kept of their genetics. These are cheetah that their bloodline is a bloodline we don't have on our reserve. But while we sit here, let's quickly go and have a look at what's going on in the Mara.
All right, here we go. It is on, guys. The long wait has finally paid, but you can tell, as I was explaining, the current is too much. This is one of those crossings that the water takes more lives, but who am I to say anything? Look at this, unbelievable. Please enjoy. I'm not gonna say anything for a few minutes unless you ask me a question. Yeah, remember, talk to me, #WildEarth. This is live from the Masai Mara. just to say something, many are making through. It is very tough to go across, but the current is really helping them. It is washing them away from those rapids where there's so many rocks and bringing them to where they can swim easily. Yes, not very many of them are going, in. You can tell they're starting to come further down from where they were going in, and I think it is a better move. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for waiting. It has paid off. Yeah, I wonder what the hippos are saying. They're saying, well, here they are again. Yeah, they have to give way. I've seen, where hippos chase them. Usually they get really surprised, what is happening. Those ones are very close to to where they are. Callum, thank you for your comment. Finally, a long wait pays off. Look at this. This is really beautiful. Thank you for the white shot, James. Yeah, remember it's James on camera doing the beautiful work. No crocodiles yet, but it's not over till it's over. You might see one swim up like a submarine. Wow. Well, I'm so happy that this happened. Waited for about 1.5 hours, and it is happening. Now I'm waiting for the zebra to go in. They have been overtaken by the wildebeest. Heidi, you say they must be exhausted after the crossing? Definitely they will. Can you imagine the panic, the fear, and also the strength used to get really tired. So definitely they will be very tired. Looks like we might have our first zebra go in soon. Beautiful. Remember, this is not the like the original crossing where they were going to cross. They have come down quite far. They started out a long ways up. We're gonna go shot again. Please enjoy. Jumping from there. Yeah, we have our first few zebra. It is not an easy crossing today, guys. The water is very strong and it is very deep here. Look at how they're struggling. Amazing. Whoa! This is unbelievable. But the good thing is they are making it through. They are almost to where I am now. They've been washed downstream. They're almost coming out where I am. I'm happy that there's no path, because sooner or later they're gonna start running towards where I am. Look at this. Beautiful. There are others that are very confused. They are swimming backwards. I must say it's not the easiest of crossings that they have chosen. Also, the day is not very good because the river is very strong. Look at where they're now going. Thank you for appreciating the sounds. Yeah, they're just right below me now, right here. Don't you worry. Oh, the hippo is running away. He's been harassed. Now he's running away. Super. Look at these guys. I hope you're enjoying. This is one in a lifetime experience. Now they're going beyond where I am. I hope they don't come running in front of me. Yeah, they're succeeding. Okay, the zebras are the only ones remaining, and a few wildebeest. Let's see if they're gonna decide to continue. Amazing, guys. Thank you for waiting. Remember, this is live. This is happening now. Any girl, you ask if they'll cross after dark. I think I won't lie to you, but I've never seen them cross at night because we are not allowed to be here at night, and I would doubt it because the sight is not as good at night. Maybe on full moon like the nights, but it has never been documented. They only cross during daylight. Okay, back to the crossing, and here we have the first few zebra. It's amazing that they have decided that no, we're not being left behind. Okay, come on, zebras. We've been waiting for this. It is not easy. You can tell they're really struggling. The current is very strong. This is amazing, guys. I hope you're enjoying this. And you deserve it. You waited for this with me. I'm really, really happy. Super. Yeah, just enjoy it. Let the eyes do the work now. Hey, don't fight in the water. Get out and fight. I think there's a steep bank there. They're struggling. Yeah, they hit it and they can. It's quite steep. Remember, no casualties so far. Everybody has survived. And I think the water actually has played a very big role. Sky, you ask that you're amazed that you haven't seen any lions at the crossing. That's true. I haven't seen any this year in these crossings. But you never know. Maybe we might just see in the coming days. Yeah, very true. No lions in any of the crossings. It could have made it much more exciting. But this is exciting already. Yeah, Sky, you ask, which pride is in this territory. This is the Mugoro pride. Mugoro pride are the owners of this territory. But they are quite farther, upstream. I saw them this morning. They're about 2 kilometers far, from here. Nobody has noticed that this crossing is being used, but in the coming days we might have hyenas, more crocodiles, and even lions. Look, guys, right now they're actually struggling to swim upstream a little bit so that they can come out in the correct spot. They can land in the correct spot. Beautiful. Yeah, this is amazing, guys. To see them crossing for this long is just epic. Mind you, we still have around 200 zebra waiting to come across. But this is amazing here. Look at that little wildebeest there. Yeah, look at that little wildebeest. He's really trying. Well done, little guy. You're gonna make it. You can tell that the mother is nowhere to be seen. Maybe they got separated while jumping in, or he did come in and then went back. That is where there's a little bank that is, really stopping them from just walking out. Beautiful. Yeah, we still have another about 200 across. We have only like 3 left in the one zebra and 3 wildebeest in the water now, and everybody else is back there. Okay, they're coming. Remember, where they start, they don't go in a straight line. There's a little guy just coming in there behind Mom Zebra. Let's watch it and see. Do you see it, guys? Yeah, in that small, group there that just jumped in. Let's see how it's gonna do. I haven't seen any crocodiles so far. Maybe they're too full, or they were caught unaware. Where's the little guy? Zebra. There it is. Yeah, he's struggling. There he is. He's doing well. Actually, he's a very good swimmer. Yeah, to the left. Yes, to the left slightly, James. Watch the little guy. I think he's gonna make it. He's somewhere there. He's doing well. There he is. He's doing really well. Yeah, he's just about to come out. There we go. He made it. Well done, little guy. Yeah, that spot is very difficult to come out very, quickly. Yeah, there's another one. Yeah, look at this small one. Yeah, I think this is the right one actually we were watching. Yeah, that's a very difficult, spot to land. I think there's a steep bank and drop. So when they hit it, it catches them by surprise. Beautiful. More and more coming. Yeah, not a very good spot to land. One of them should come back and put a red flag there. Look at this, he's a stallion who has misplaced all the mares, and he's very worried. Listen to the sounds. Thank you for that comment. Such a relief to see them go across. Definitely, yes. It was long awaited. And actually, I was getting a little bit angry with myself, talking about the crossing and not having to show you one. I was feeling guilty. So now I can redeem myself and my team and say we have shared one with you. This is beautiful, guys. Yeah, one in a lifetime. Only happens 3 months in a year here in Kenya. Doesn't mean that the migration is over. They've only crossed the river from the main Mara to Mara Triangle. And if they want to go straight to Tanzania, Serengeti, they'll have to cross the same river further down. But it might happen again that they'll turn back in a few days and go across the other side. We've been having pockets of rain here and there, and that usually really attracts them, sometimes to go back. Beautiful. Unlike the normal crossings, unlike the other crossings where they go on a straight line, you can tell here the water is shaping the crossing and forming a sort of, semicircle, an arc. They go straight and then they have to struggle, from where the currents reach. Oh, here comes a crocodile, and he's determined to get one, guys. Oh dear. Here we go. Here we go. Come on, zebra. Come on, zebra. Okay, looks like the crocodile has given in, or not. Still going. Yeah, go, little guy, go. Still going, the crocodile. It's too late now, I think. Go, little guy, go. All right, the crocodile has to choose another zebra because there is no wildebeest in sight. Remember that zebra do put up a fight more than the wildebeest. Is he gonna go for a mature zebra? That is going to be, a fight. If he does, you can tell he's not going as fast as he was when he was looking at the young one. That guy is really struggling. Yeah, okay, he's turning again. Really, he's serious, you know. Okay, here we go. Is it gonna happen? Nah. Well done, zebra. You know, he said, not me. Take that. Okay, it's not over. Do we have some more coming? Yeah, we still have a handful. Zebra across, and also a few wildebeest have come in from out of the blue. And more zebra have come in. Let's see if they're gonna jump in. I think the crocodile overslept. He was caught napping, and now he might end up not having a meal. Let's wait and see. Those are the last few. I don't know if they're going to come or not. Let's see. Remember, that's almost where they started crossing, but slowly the crossing changed to, you know, its position, its entry to its exit. I have more zebra running from up there. A few wildebeest left. I thought all the wildebeest had gone across, but I'm wrong. There's a few. Remember, this is live. It's coming from Masai Mara, and beautiful camera work by Big James. Okay, are we gonna come? I don't know if they're going off to the left there. Okay, here we go. Is it gonna be another one? Now the pressure is really on because they can hear or see the others across this side. So yeah, you know, there's lots of pressure for them to cross. I'm glad you're happy that the zebra told off the crocodile, you know, said, not me, not today, and never. That was actually good to see, you know, zebras really put up a fight. I have seen them biting a crocodile that was holding on to another. Yes, hopefully these guys jump in and we'll cheer for the little guy. Always cheer for the little guys. Okay, is it over? Do you think it's over? Looks like somebody threw the towel and said we're not going to continue. Remember, they have a mind of their own. They might stand there and say, why wait tomorrow? This is amazing, guys. I hope, you know, you had fun like, you know, I did, but it's not over until, you know, they're gone over the horizon. Do you hear the backs? Those are from, you know, zebra. Yeah, looks like they have decided that they'll try tomorrow. Very determined to leave the river, and I think it looks like it is over. Unlike where you have a few that are left behind looking at the river, here looks like there has been a decision. We're all not going to cross. They're all leaving. Okay, as they head out, I'm gonna keep watch, make sure you don't miss anything.
Beautiful waterway of a start here at Djuma Private Game Reserve in Sabi Sands. Such a beautiful antelope, which is just behind a tree, male waterbuck. we just find him trying to move away from us. We only could see the white circle in the back, but only doing its business. Hi everyone, my name is Andrew, and behind the camera that's a BK. So it's a little windy day, but not as much as it were this morning. But for such an antelope to find itself away from, see how he's staring around there, just to try to see, could be the leaves that disturbed by the wind, but that makes him to check what could be around. So for a safety and a point of view, it's so important for such an antelope, for animals, individual, that they either alone or not in a group. So they seems to be all taking care of themselves for safety. And we'll see just a white circle in the back. So Jade asking that whether we could tell the age of the waterbuck by looking at its size. Sometimes can be a little bit difficult, but I could tell with this one, looking at this horn, looks like it's almost, looks like it's fully growing. So could be at least around, because they only live up to, 11 years lifespan, or could be more than that. But, easily we could put this one, maybe around 6.5, 7 years old, somewhere there. Waterbuck are grazer, pretty much mix a little bit of herbs and everything. So they could, but they prefer to always feed on, if it's ever fresh grasses or new shoots. But of course, you find them sometimes away from the water, just like right now. If I were to estimate the distance of where the water hole is now, it's probably from there where you're just facing, where Belusuk Dam it's called. It could be way down there. It's another about maybe 1 kilometer away. So, but of course, name as a water. So we'll carry on. We'll leave him now. See what else we find for you guys. You stick with us.
So we also went on a little search for any signs of the female with the 2 young cubs. And we went to go see if we can find leopard, but we had no luck due to the wind that's blowing this afternoon. It's quite a steady wind blowing. So we've decided to make our way back towards this lion pride, where there's a lot of yawning, a lot of jaw stretching, and not much else happening at this point. The weather is slightly humid, and I have noticed in the past that sometimes it gives them quite a bit of energy. So we're starting to see the younger ones getting more active. There's also a lot of flies in this area, so you can see the ears are twitching the whole time, the tails are flicking. It's amazing though that you would hardly be able to see them if it wasn't for those quick movements. That one's holding on to the other one. It's a bit of a game going on there. Looked like it didn't want to be held. You can see they all have a bit of excess energy. I'm not sure what to do with it. Like this young male. And I often find that, like this one's doing now, when they don't know what to do with themselves, they'll chew a lot of sticks or anything nearby.
Welcome to Chitwa, everybody, where a resident fish eagle has decided to hang out with some other black and white birds for the afternoon. Don't know if you're getting my comms. Are you getting me there, Theo? Sorry, Kirst, I was talking there before. Hello, everyone. You are on Chitwa, where we've got our wonderful fish eagle. Decided to hang out with a couple of black and white birds as well. Okay, there's just a bit of a delay. So this fish eagle was being bombed a moment ago by those little blacksmith lapwings. It's not uncommon to find the fish eagles out by the water. They obviously go and drink. They also sometimes like to put their feet in the water. It's a very nice way of cooling down. Ooh, and a nice way to bath as well. We've got 3 birds in shot there. Fish eagle, blacksmith lapwing, ooh, a 3-banner plover, and a Cape turtle dove. Couldn't be left out of the mix. It's like, what, 3 birds? Let's make it a party. 4 birds now. It's actually quite nice to see the size difference whenever you are comparing birds in identification. Always look for the size. Is it smaller or the size of a sparrow? Is it smaller or the size of a dove? Is it smaller or the same size as a guinea fowl? And then you can go on to the raptors. So you can see the difference in sizes here. It's quite pronounced. That's very helpful when looking in a bird book for a size comparison. You can't go and say, I saw a black and white bird, everybody. Okay, how big was it? That was kind of medium. It's helpful if you have a general idea of the size. Starlings is a good size comparison. Doves or pigeons. And there you can see the contrasting size. Oh, and a starling can't help himself. Wonderful birding this afternoon at Chitwa. And there's a Cape Wagtail in the middle of the shot. Sorry, let's go back into that starling. A little bit left. There we go. There's a Cape, I think it's a Cape Wagtail. Beard lapwings are bigger than you thought. Obviously, they're a little bit bigger than the dove, but they're quite aggressive. They chase everybody around. It looks like a Cape Wagtail. Yeah, little hopping and jumping his tail up and down. So they don't like anybody around the edges of the water. It is their habitat, and they will chase anyone around. And these starlings are having a little bit of a chase as well. Definitely. Oh! There was a peck at the feet or what? It's all happening. Looks like a great blue-eared starling. You can see behind the ears it's got quite a dark patch behind the ear that called the ear covert. The Birchill's starling has got the long tail and a black eye, and the Cape Glossy has got the orange eye without the blue ears.
Great, what a beautiful, from fish eagle to now an elephant. Looks like could be more elephants, just looks like a small herd here. This young one close to the road. So welcome everyone back to Chuma. We just spot this young elephant slightly not far from the road, but you know, they can be scattered all over. This is how they feed. So even there we're looking at the young elephant over here. Could be more around it, young elephant. So is not separate or lost. We could hear some of them further away into that drainage line system, so it might pop out sometimes while we were around. Elephants, for them to be able to get enough of food or feed, it's better when they separate and or stay far apart. The reason for that, sometimes the older sister or young brothers, they take over food for the young one every time they locate nutritious food. So the biggest one are the first to actually feed instead of the young one going for it. See, this young one looks like it's pretty much enjoying it, food on its own. Sage, I want to know how old an elephant can get. So, elephant lifespan is about 55, sometimes 60 years, roughly. That's pretty much older they can get. Sometimes they can lose their life, especially bulls, or any disease that take place on this animal. So, but otherwise, they, for now, the longest living animals, biggest body weight animal living. So, bulls, they have a lot of challenge fighting between the other bull. It's always the dominant change that costs their life sometimes down. But the females, since they group up, take care of one another and take care of their young one, making sure that these young ones that they're not able to reach as much distance they need a day. So is their mother always making sure that everyone is in a place, everyone is safe. If it's not safe, you'll see if you're around that herd, they'll rise their heads and they'll growl and they'll get around, rise their tail up and the heads up. So it's kind of a safety. Maybe it was something around they were not sure about. Remember, they are the animals that they don't always associate with males. And they always be on their own. If males are around for, it's a good present, but they don't need it. So just gonna probably stick around here for a while, see if the whole herd come out, since it's the only one that's mobile now.
So the wind has just stopped, and now you can see that these young lions have stopped whatever they were doing. They're not grooming as much anymore, and they've been turning their ears in all directions to listen out. You can see there's more heads up there in the distance. And that little one, he's always got his head up. Whenever you come across this pride, he's usually one of the first ones to have his head up. He looks a little bored, if you ask me. It's always interesting to look at their body language. Like, it is, in a lot of ways, the biggest thing that we look for when we try to interpret what the animals might be doing. But I do think, like in this case, they're literally just waiting for something to happen. because of the good meals they've had. It looks like they had something to eat again during the night. I saw on the young white male earlier, I saw a little bit of, looked like blood on the chest and around the throat area. I'm not sure what. Might have been something small, maybe an impala. Sometimes when you follow the tracks of these animals to try and find them again after their night's movements, sometimes come across spots where they had something small to eat, but you're never sure exactly what. I'm also not sure which one ate and which one had a look. You can see the young male's tail constantly flicking along with his ears. I think the flies are really bothering him. He probably had most of whatever it was to eat.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Chitwa. It's that time of day. We have set up a wonderful sunset for you, and as always I'm going to allow you to just enjoy it.
Welcome back. Beautiful. Still sticking around with this elephant. Smaller herd of elephant. So here is more of them back there. In that dip. Looks like this is probably one of the mother around here. See how I was pulling off the grasses using this beautiful, useful trunk. See how she's coming out of the bush there? With her ears flapping over and over every now and then, just for a cool off. It's been warm, but not that hot, so... Ooh, it was a bird. Yeah, that was... What was it? Couldn't even see. Looks like it was either Lilac-breasted roller or... I think of it. So they're one of these birds associating with a big animal like that, but they just sit on the branches waiting for any movement of an insect that may disturb by the animals, and they fly and catch it up. That's what was probably happening in there. We're probably going to do the same again, I think. Can't even see it, but I would suggest it was a lilac-breasted roller. Lilac-breasted roller it was, I think. Doubly check again. She also sweating. The temporal gland, which is secretion of that liquid running down in the side of the, between the eye and the ear, of both sides of that animal. Sometimes with elephants like that, could be either fully growing by looking at its head. Could tell easily looking at this temple. See above the eye. Shows a lot of a, deep skull. You could see probably skull of the animal, so it's not a young animal. Oh, was it lilac-breasted roller? Yes. Went down for probably insect again. Beautiful bird. Elephants, they spend a lot of time rather than sleeping. So a lot of the time moving, feeding, finding water, especially herds like this. It's got to be matriarch, which is the leader of a herd. So looks like now, it also looks like what the drong or black bird that flew down. Since they're all scattered all over here, cannot tell right now which one is a matriarch, unless everyone come out of that, then you're able to tell looking at the size of an animal. But we're going to leave them, we're going to move forward, look around for more animal.
How is that for a view of a foot? You can see on the bottom right of on the screen, we can see one mammary gland. And clearly, one can probably tell very easily that this animal is quite relaxed and not too bothered. And that's pretty much the best of what you can see. It's amazing. If those ears weren't flicking and laying with their backs towards us, they're very, very tricky to spot. So that one's laying on its back, or on her back. And I think it might be because it's a little bit more comfortable. Also, the slight breeze picked up again. The moment the wind stopped, you could feel the pressing heat, which is not completely unheard of for this time of the year, but it was quite unexpected, considering that the last few days wasn't that hot. The lion paw, that there, even though it's flaunted like that straight up in the air and to indicate, ooh, and we just woke up and look at the A little bit of a stretch there. The cats and dogs often sleep like this. It's got a lot to do with their comfortability. Also, she's laying on soft grass here. I think it's also to have a little bit of airflow through. There's less fur on the belly of this animal, and often with a cool breeze coming through, it cools them down. You can see the flies are really bothering her now. She's using that tail tuft to try and get up on the rump area. She even lifted up her leg to get there. Now slowly but surely she's going to move back into the same position. You can actually see some of the flies flying around there. Something's just drawn that little one's attention. And I think it's just this young male that's gone. He stood up briefly and went to go lay down. It's amazing. It's almost like they're afraid to miss out. Sage, how many white lions do we have in the park? In Ongala, we have these two. That one over there, which is the young female, and then the young male that we just had a look at. In the greater area of the Kruger National Park, there is considered to be 3 that occurred from wild existing genes. And 2 of those are here on and beyond Ongala. They have grown quite a bit. This little one over here, you can see there at the back of his neck is the longer tuft of hair coming. Now that's the start of his mane. He's approaching 2 years of age. He's already got longer hair on the head, on the back of his neck, on his chest. I think he might be quite a large specimen once he grows up. He's very strong. Just look at all those flies on him. That's amazing. You can see the skin twitching every time they go sit down. And I can actually see a little bit of red color coming down the neck behind his left ear and on the shoulder. Now I think that might be from whatever they ate last night.
Welcome back everyone again. So, sure, we thought we were going to leave the area, but our road has been blocked with this elephant, so now we can see all of our young one that was not actually in the herd last time we viewed them. But they're all coming out now. And look at that young one, looks like it's still kind of hairy a little bit, but it's all disappearing if you're able to. Indeed, it's so cute, especially young elephants. When they are together, they do something great. They play around, push each other, roll in the ground. They still actually have a lot of energy. Young animal like that can do whatever they want, push each other, dust bath, steal food from their mother's trunk. They're just gorgeous. There's more of them there. Coming in. So at night, there would be also foraging, moving in, out of the bush, going down to drink. They don't mind drinking even at night. Only animal that they worry too much about going to drink at night, the small antelopes, impalas and kudos, those are vulnerable to a cat, big cats or small cats. But these night and day animals moving around, so we talk about they're spending a lot of time sometimes moving, and less time of resting. For these big bull elephants, sometimes a way of carrying on with their day without resting, as they feed, they switch legs. 3 of them stand, 1 rest up, switch them again, so they can sometimes, when in a shed, take a nap or sleep for about 45 minutes or an hour sometimes, and they carry on again feeding. So remember, they're such a big animal. Risky, you want to know how much baby an elephant, female elephant, had in its lifetime. I'm not 100% sure, but since that, they raise their baby, too much longer, and they carry their baby for about 22 months, which is about 2 years pregnancy. So it could be around maybe 5 times or 6 times. If they're successful, I'll suggest maybe around there, but I'll double check on that. It's a very good question, so important. Remember, they only live up to about 60, 55 lifespan. When they're successful, nothing wrong with them, they can reach that far. But you see, dying of natural causes, either a disease that can take them just before they can reach that much long living, or die of older age, they cannot able to feed enough because of their molars, teeth that won't allow animals anymore to feed. If you would imagine the big size they are, if they would miss 1 hour, 2 hours not to feed, they will be so hungry. 1 to 2 days, probably nearly starve too much, nearly to die, but can survive drinking water as much as they can. But unfortunately, if they cannot find food because of their tooth that won't allow them to eat, then that's the problem. See, this young baby is still out there in the open. There could be more of them in the wood, but there's only one that's visible right now. Only hear the bush going. Barely seen the other one. Going back to the road. Now we're going to leave them. We're going to probably change direction there, going to look at the waterhole, see what's offered out there for us.
And over here, it looks like there's a trend starting to develop. You can see now this one is also on his back with his legs open. throwing out his tail there to rest it a little bit on the grass. And I've often found, like, when it's very, very hot like it was today, the animals struggle to have a good rest, and you see them often flicking their ears, rolling around. And it's also when the flies bother them the most. So then usually the last hour or so before it starts getting dark and it cools down properly, like it is at the moment, looks like might even be a storm moving in. Then you often find that they all lay down and they rest. I was hoping that we might get to see them move a little bit more. At one point it looked like there was a bit of energy going, but I think at the moment they seem like they are flat down. Only tails and ears. Every time the tail moves up, it looks like it might be a snake moving out of the grass. And there's so much going on around this area at the moment. There's 2 hooded vultures that's probably been sitting here all day watching these lions. You can see those 2 up there. It looks like they're sitting on a dead knobthorn. Very, very clever birds, this. And I'm sure these 2 have a nest somewhere not too far from here. They're probably waiting. I'm sure they might, now that it's getting dark, they might move back to their nesting site to go and roost. But I think for them it's well worth it. They have to wait during the heat of the day. They might as well wait somewhere nearby where the pride of lions is, just in case it moves. Especially if they've been as successful as they have the last couple of days with hunting. Like these vultures probably know, having spent some time in this area, that there's some leftovers. Rad, do white lions have a shorter life expectancy than normal lions? Well, there is a lot of confusion about this, I think. Personally, I think it remains to be seen. I think young lions in general have a very short life expectancy and a very high mortality rate. Or a very low mortality rate, sorry. And I don't think that it's really that they do have a shorter life expectancy because they are white. I think it just happens so that with the rate that lion cubs die off, especially in their first year or first 2 years, the white ones being a recessive gene and therefore less animals, it just makes that we often find that some of them die. And I think out of these ones here, the 2 white ones are doing pretty well at the moment. This guy is at the moment the largest one out of this younger bunch. He's got another brother, and he's certainly grown a lot quicker than he has. I've even seen this guy suckle from one of the females when he was already 1 year and 2 months old.
Thanks, Giraffe. Welcome back to Juma this time, everybody. We've got a young male giraffe. In this area last night, we had a really nice group of them. This young fellow on his own.
Where's all your friends?
They do form loose associations, everybody, so you can't really tie them down to anybody. You find groups of bulls, groups mixed. So I'm almost certain there must be more around here. Laura, yes, I'm almost certain. I'm no sorry, we'll just move forward an inch. I'm no expert on diseases, and most of the diseases that are transferred by animals are either through saliva or through ticks. There are also intestinal parasites that get in through food. But flies, I can't think of any diseases that flies spread here to animals. Most of the flies that we know of are more flesh-eating or blood-sucking.
Mobiles, I'm out from the also.
So okay, switch off. Sorry about that. So when an animal does die, or gets killed, obviously, it doesn't take very long for flesh-eating flies to move in and lay their eggs and for the maggots to form. But with regards to diseases transferred via flies, I'm not certain. Obviously, we have the malaria mosquito, which transfers malaria to us, and there's a number of tick-borne diseases that are transferable. But many of the animals are quite well attuned to these diseases. Those that are not succumb to them. That's why wildlife, mixed with areas where there are domesticated cattle and the like, there's been big issues over the last 200 years, because a lot of the cattle, goats, cows, whatever it might be, that have been brought from Europe are not adapted over a very long time to the African diseases, and many of the animals that were brought in were absolutely decimated by wildlife diseases, and it's what led to huge veterinary corridor and veterinary fence that sort of covers or keeps the eastern side of the Lowveld from the western side for the transfer of many of those diseases. And is this a corridor? So no fly is going to be prevented by a corridor, so it's more of a tick-borne as well as as an animal itself from saliva. So if there was diseases transferred by flies, then I think there'd be very, very big issues with regards to just a corridor, because the R40, which is a major road, sort of Tortutspread side, on the eastern side of that is the Kruger, and on the western side, you cannot take any wildlife without permits. It's a very, 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 very stringent process. And if there were flies that could just transfer diseases across that, then that never would have worked. So, but I'm not sure. God, monkey, I've never seen a botfly here. You do get them in Africa, definitely in Kenya. Botflies are there. That's why people have to iron their clothes. Botflies, everybody, lay eggs on your wet clothes. There he is. Lay their eggs on your wet clothes, and then when you wear them, the eggs burrow into, the larvae burrows into your skin, and you get this bump, which, Theo, you're right with that. Back an inch. Back an inch, there we go. Oh, he's going to move. They burrow into the skin, and I don't think they cause any disease. It is a very uncomfortable sort of process to get your doctor or to get it removed. Basically, the larvae forms a maggot. There's a maggot in your skin. And I've seen the process of people popping them out. If you want to ruin your dinner, by all means, go and YouTube those videos. Not pleasant. I wouldn't go look at them if you are not into that sort of thing. But if you'd like to destroy yours and your family's dinner, by all means, go and Google botfly removal. But I wouldn't do it if I were you. You've been warned. But I don't know if they transfer diseases. They just live in you. It's possible there are diseases, but I am no expert on the disease front. But if flies did transfer, I think there would be a very big problem. And off goes our giraffe into the woodlands. Oh, gosh. Thanks, Daniel. Daniel said he saw a video of a botfly being removed from a cat's eye. I don't know how that was done. Oh, gosh. How did you... The cat must have been sedated. There's no way. Gosh, anyway. Anyway, that conversation has definitely gone south, and we're going to be heading over towards the west.
Welcome back. Beautiful, from butterflies to herd of elephants, proper herd of elephants. Now they're all visible drinking. Just lucky getting them just before the whole herd of them started to drink. Just looking at this too, we're talking about how playful they are. We're talking about the youngest, but he's all a teenager that they still have a lot of strength, push one another. They love swimming as well, so one goes to or be pushed into water. That's going to be a result of a swimming. They don't mind wet. Makes them cool off themselves. Look at the big one right on it. Right here. I could see. Look, you can see the hairy here. Bring the trunk up. Probably had enough drink. She will just look at us. This is one of the big female in this group. Just because they have all the young ones, all they do is just to make sure the young ones are all in the middle or between the bigger one for a safety. This one seems to, she lost the tusk, it looks like it, eh? Since female, they don't do a lot of fight. Could maybe happen that during the pushing down tree, doesn't look like all the, see that tusk is actually maybe length enough to be equal, both of them. Sometimes they're not equal in length, just because of elephants are more likely to be like human, left or right-handed. This is how they do when they feed. So the trunk and the tusk is so important on an animal like that. Because when they break off, leaves are hard. Jade, when I know elephant would have an emotion. Yes. Certainly, yes, they do. Elephants' behavior, they're one of the animals that sometimes they have a better memory, sometimes more than human can. So they remember things that happened for the past maybe 3-4 years, and they're still remembering. If anything worse that disturbed them here, or one die, or what happened, or they get freaked out so badly, every time they come past in this area, they will be aware of kind of situation every now and then. Look at the head of this big female over here. You could see this temporina sweating. Except we're all going to be surrounded right now, not knowing which one we have to look at it, but it's going to be scary because two here, they're having a good go, so it's just all over. So great, look at these. This is the job they do, so it's kind of like a practice, but, you know, mountain practice for such a two young males. How beautiful is that? Can't have a good of one another's too. Sometimes the young bulls, they take their time doing that, playing, fighting, and the rest of the herd move far until they realize now, you know, we're all left behind. They have such a great communication. That makes them really able to locate one another again, wherever they are, how far they are, the others. You know, we're just going to take a little while here. See what happens.
So now the sun's gone down, there's still a bit of light, but you can see the predatory instinct has started taking over, and some of these animals immediately show a bit more of their energy. This little one has basically just been biting the flies all the time, trying to get hold of one of them. You can see he's starting to groom himself. And with most of these lions, as soon as they start moving, they're going to start licking their front paws first, between the claws, and eventually, a bit of that. Yawning, you can see his canines is busy developing there. And I agree with everybody, it's definitely time for them to get up and hunt again. Because this one here, like him, his brothers and sisters, they're all growing lions, they need to eat a lot. And at this stage, it's almost, if they can, they'll hunt every day. And that's the youngest lioness. You can see she's starting to walk over to the larger lionesses. Bit of head rubbing, greeting, basically saying good evening. Starting to groom each other. And then from here, I think we'll see them get up, and they'll probably move into the night to try and hunt. We've had a wonderful day, and there was a lot happening, not so much with these lions, but I'd like all of our viewers from this afternoon, if they can, to join us in the morning, and we will see what we can find in the morning.
This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to The Dawn and to a Leopard. My name is Steve. Welcome on board. It is the sunrise